Okay, so hello everyone. This is your own YouTube channel, and this is me, your own tutor. So, I actually told you about the process, about how to go about the Canada visa process, and this is basically the first thing that you will need in order to initiate the process, and that is your IELTS exam. So what you all need to know about this exam, what are the costs, what are the types of exam, how to register for the exam, and this is particularly for Pakistan, but you could actually use these resources for other countries as well, like India, Bangladesh, and others, right? So let's get started. Um, Starting from the very basics, what is the IELTS exam? IELTS basically stands for International English Language Testing System. Now, many people are actually confused between IELTS and the TOEFL exam, that is Test of English as a Foreign Language, TOEFL. I'll have separate videos for it, but in this one, we are going to cover IELTS. Now, for Canada, especially if you're applying through the SDS process, you need to have an academic IELTS or general training IELTS exam, as I also told you in the previous video. If you haven't watched that one, I think you should go to that video first and watch that completely before coming on to this video. So, uh, what does IELTS stand for? It stands for International English Language Testing System, and there are two types of IELTS exams: general training and academic exam. Now, what are the differences between these two? Basically, general training is for immigration purposes, and it is not to test your academic strength or academic aptitude, right? So their reading section or their writing section would be a bit different and a bit easier because they're testing your basic English language skills so that you can actually go there in Canada and survive in their culture and mingle with the people easily. So that's what they're testing. But here in the academic IELTS, what they're testing is your ability to understand complex paragraphs and also to draft a very good English. And there's a specific format for their essays, and they want you to write essays and compose them, right? So these are all the skills that are required for you in order to get admission in the university. Number one, if you do not have an English proficiency certificate, and I talked about it in my previous video as well. If you don't have that certificate, then obviously it is better to have IELTS exam and with a minimum of 6.5, I would say. But for the for the student visa purposes, SDS process, you need 6.0. So, how to register for the exam? We are going to cover it in a bit, and what to expect on the test date or test day. That is really important, and you need to be aware of what to expect. And for example, the test always starts off with the listening section, right? And many people are not really sure about what to expect, which section to expect first, and they're not ready, they're mentally ready for reading section or another section, for example. And when they find listening section to be the first section they are going to be tested on, it becomes a bit overwhelming for them. So you need to be mentally prepared. It is very important to approach this exam with preparation. Otherwise, you're only going to waste your money. And how much does it cost? The exam is a bit expensive, so I'm going to tell you all about that as well. Now, these are the four components that are going to be tested, and I have listed them in the order that you're going to find in the test. For example, listening section comes first, and don't worry about the stationery and these small things because these are going to be provided to you if you take the exam uh, with the AEO, that is Australian IELTS, I think. And I took the exam with them, and I am sure that British Council and other agencies that take your test also provide the same things. You don't need to take anything with you. They even provide you with a bottle of water, two soft mints that I found. Yeah, so you actually have them. How much does it cost? We are going to cover that in detail because the cost might vary from country to country, and some of the countries have GST imposed, for that is general sales tax. And for Pakistan, I'll also tell you the scenario. So that's the end of this slideshow. So let's go straight into the website. So this is what you would do if you are initiating the process, how to register for the IELTS exam in Pakistan. and you could actually find this British Council one, and then there is IDP, IELTS IDP, but I used this one for my test. But there's not really much of a difference, and the resources are going to be the same. Some people actually assume that the British Council IELTS, their testing, their checking is a bit strict as compared to AEO IELTS and everything, but I think they have standardized the test to an extent that this thing is not possible, and all these are myths. So even if you're going for the British Council one or the IDP one, it's not going to make a difference in your testing results. I went with the AUIs because of the convenience factor, right? So you will open this link and you will come onto this page. Now this is the page where you can register your IELTS exam, talk to the IELTS administrators about if any queries that you might have. But hopefully after watching this video, you will not have many. Uh, so IELTS book online, right? So if you want to book IELTS exam, you should use and fill out this form first. And they're asking you about three basic things. Number one is which city. For example, if I'm from Karachi, I'm going to choose Karachi, and here you will choose the type of IELTS exam that you want to take. Most people take general training or academic IELTS. Students mostly take this one, academic IELTS, so I'm going to select this one. And here it says that there are two types of tests: computer delivered test and paper based test. Now there are few small differences. I will make a separate video about it as well. In the paper based one, it's convenient. I took the paper based one, but finding their date is a bit of a challenge as compared to the computer delivered one. And I also believe that computer delivered test results are generated only 5 days after the test, whereas for the paper based one, I think it takes around 13 days. So if you're in a bit of a hurry, I think you should go for the computer delivered one, but you need to make sure that you get your result within the 5 days of taking the test or within a week of taking the test. I heard it from someone, but I couldn't find it on the website, right? So you need to contact the AEO personnel and ask them about it. But from my experience, I took the paper based one. Why take it out? They're marketing their page, why you should go for AEO and all. This is important. Convenient dates and locations. So you need to find the available test centers. I will tell you how to do that. Testing environment is good. Special arrangements are available. SMS service is available. Timely results. So you will be available. Your results will be available online on the 13th day after the test. So you need. It's very important for you to have this timeline in your attention, because many people, what they do is that, for example, their university date is to register for the university, the deadline is, for example, January 10th. So they would be registering their test for the 4th of January, expecting the results to be out before the deadline, and they end up missing out on sending the results. Now many universities, they actually allow you to send results later on as well. So it's not that big of a deal, but I think you should be very well prepared. Especially if you're tight on the deadlines, you should be expecting these things and be clear about what you want to do with this, right? And these are the payment options. So nowadays there's Easy Pesa, Jazz Cash, internet banking, ATM transfer, mobile apps, and all these are available. So for example, if I choose this submit, let the page load, and it's going to tell me about all the test dates that are available in Karachi and the venue. Now this is Beach Luxury Hotel in Karachi, for example, and this is available on the 7th January 2023. So this is the date and this is the month. So don't get confused, because in Pakistan we use the date first, right? So it's in the reverse order. Now it's not actually telling me that this is the paper based one or a computer based one, but I think let's just click here in order to understand if it's the computer based one or the paper based one. When I registered last time, I think I had it mentioned here that it's going to be a paper based one or a computer based one, right? Okay, so this is pretty much it. They're finding test venues. I think this is where they will show me that computer-based one is available or the paper-based one is available. Here, anyways, let it load. First, I will also cover a few of the additional questions that you might have about the IELTS exam. So they also offer classes if you feel like you're underprepared for the IELTS exam. So now many people, um, if your English is not very good, I think you basically need to work on that first, because it's really important for you to be comfortable with the language in order to take this test. Because most people, what happens for most of them is that they are not able to write really well, and there's also a difference because we are basically non-native English speakers, and our pronunciation, our way of speaking, or rather writing, way of expressing ourselves is quite different than that of a native speaker, and that is where we lose marks basically, because the checkers are native English speakers and they expect the level of English to be a bit higher as compared to those checkers who are in the uh, subcontinent countries, right? So in order to I'll tell you about each and every tip and tricks that I have for the IELTS exam in the separate videos, but this is specifically about how to register for the IELTS exam. So this is the number, and these are, if you're in Karachi, these are the numbers that you can call on. This is the toll-free number, but make sure you have this code in front of it, and you have they've also given you the mobile number, so it's easy to contact them and ask for every information. If you want to take a mock test, it costs around 8,000 rupees, and I don't really think it's worth it, because you already have enough ample resources to use as a mock test. You can get your writing section checked from any good IELTS tutor who has himself or herself scored well in the IELTS exam, and especially in the writing section. You can get your essays checked from them, right? So if you want to get a feel of the exam, the real exam, then this mock test might be of help to you, right? So moving on, these are the frequently asked questions about us. Now most people don't bother with these, but these have some amazing information, I believe. For example, now, what are the deadlines for registering the IELTS test? Many people don't know this because their deadlines approach and they're not really clear. So this it clearly says that this is for IELTS PB, but for other IELTS as well. Uh, all the deadlines are subject to the availability of the test. So, but it is better to have this deadline in mind: 3 working days before the test. So you should be uh, clear about it, right? Now, can a test taker get additional copies of TRF? TRF is basically your score report. I don't remember the full form of it. TRFs. Well, so I'll let you know later on. I'm forgetting the full form of it, but these are the score reports that you get about, or your results that you get. Uh, test report form, I think it's called, but I'm not really sure about it. So the test takers can request up to 2 additional TRFs. So first one is going to be mailed to you, emailed to you as well, and you can view it online. And they also mail it to you after a few days, after 13 days, I guess. And if you want to have additional copies, it costs around 1,000 rupees, but we'll cover the costs in the next tab, right? So here's the important question: is there any difference between IELTS tests conducted by AEO Pakistan and British Council? There is actually no difference, and all these are myths created by the people who actually couldn't score with British Council or AEO IELTS for one reason or another, and then they blame the testing agencies. It is not to defend them. They charge a lot of money, standardized tests, and I believe they are improving day by day, because now I've recently heard that they are actually allowing to retake a test component. For example, if you didn't score well in the writing section, you can only retake the writing section. Earlier, you had to like take the entire test, and it used to cost a lot of money. But I think this is a very good option that they are going to introduce. I don't think it's introduced yet in Pakistan, but in the future it might be introduced, and I think it's a very good feature. So can a candidate send their IELTS application via courier mail? So this can be done, but I would advise you to use the online methods if these are available to you. Okay, if there's an error in the test, you need to notify them within 5 days. This is very important. If you miss the deadline if you don't, for example, the results are out on the 13th day, and if you don't inform them by 18th or 19th day after receiving your results, boom, that the result is final. Even if there's an error in the result and you believe that you performed really well in one section and their score is like not saying it, then I think you can actually go for a re-evaluation as well, and it costs a bit of money as well, because I recently remember a cousin of mine taking this test, and they actually scored they did well in the writing exam, but they actually got 6.5, so they went for a recheck, and they ended up getting 7.0. So he was really sure about the mistake in their process, and they went for a recheck. But these are for later debate. Right now, let's focus on registering for the IELTS. So all of the other types of IELTS, UK V1, and these are not important to you. What's important to you are two types: the academic one and the general training one, right? So here again, this is the test schedule. If you want to know about each and every city, there's a test schedule available, and this is the website that you're going to use, and slash test dash schedule, and you can view. For example, for Karachi, I have viewed it, and which one is it? Is it academic one or the general training one? They're going to tell it here. This is the general training plus academic one, so both of them are available. And for those those in black, they will only show there's only academic IELTS available, right? So for January, both are available. There are usually 2 to 4 test dates in a month, so you can register accordingly. Now, is there a transfer, refund, or a cancellation policy? Yes, there is. A candidate who requests a postponement or cancellation of their test within 5 weeks. This is important. So, for example, you're registering your test today, and your test is within the 5 weeks, within the next 5 weeks, for example, within the next 1.5 months or 1 month, then you will be charged a full fee, regardless. Even if you want to like cancel the exam, you will not get a refund. But if it is you have a valid reason, you have medical evidence for it, you will be refunded, but then an administrative fees of about 25% of the total fees will be charged. So this is important, okay? And for the illness, you need to show hospital admission, serious injury or illness, and does not include minor illness such as cold or anything. So there needs to be like a serious emergency, God forbid, in order to get your refund. If the candidate's application is approved, the test center will refund after charging administrative fee. This is the same point. And then there are transfers. You can actually select a different test date here. There might be limited availability for test dates in the first 5 weeks period. Candidates who wish to transfer a test date to more than 3 months away should apply for a refund and then reapply for the test. So, for example, if you want to choose a date that is like 4 months from now on, you cannot do that. And if you have already paid the fees, you need to schedule a refund with them. And after, I think, getting the administrative fee deducted, they will refund the amount, the 75% of it, and then you need to reschedule the test. But you need to confirm this policy, because here they don't mention the 25% deduction, and that is for this within the 5 weeks one. So you need to confirm this by calling them or emailing them or even chatting them online, because they say they're here, right? So do explore these and clear your doubts before going to the test. Now this is important. You need to clear your doubts before going into the test. Okay, this is the same page, I think. Yeah, we've already covered it. So that's pretty much it about the registering the IELTS exam. So this is basically when we loaded the initial page, and it's showing me the academic IELTS one, Karachi. Now here it's again not telling me whether it's a computer based test or here it's telling me. So this is a paper delivered test, right? So you need to look here. This is the small icon. So if it would be a computer delivered one, there would be a red, I think red icon there, red logo showing a computer monitor. So here it's showing a paper and a pen. So this is a paper based test. So these are the two dates that are available. Now look here at the colors. Seats filling quickly. So these are yellow. So if you want to register for the 14th of January, the seats are filling quickly. So you need to register nowadays. Finding a test date is becoming a bit difficult because this is the season when most people are applying abroad. So you need to be very proactive when you're scheduling your IELTS exam, right? And for the 19th one, that's easily available. So when you select this, for example, the 19th one, now you see this is only for listening, reading, and writing. Your speaking section is going to be scheduled after you're done with this test. Mostly on the, if you're coming from out of the city, you can call them up, the AU IELTS authorities, and ask them to schedule your speaking test on the same day. But if you're not in a hurry, and if you can reach the test center easily, you could actually schedule the speaking section on a different date. You can also schedule it prior to the exam or after the exam. It's up to you. So they would actually ask for your convenience. Now here is the price of the test. Now, in another page, there was a price mentioned as 39,500 rupees, but these are the taxes and everything after deducting. 45,200 rupees Pakistan rupees PKR. So this is what you should have in mind when you're registering for the test. So you would continue with this, and then it will ask you for your credit card or debit card details and your information, for example. So that's pretty much it, right? Wait, I think I missed out on something. I didn't schedule a date, so I'll choose a date first and then I'll come to this page, and that's how it's gonna work. Alright, so this was all the information about how to register for the IELTS exam. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do give it a like, and please subscribe to my channel. This channel is new, but trust me, it's going to change your lives forever if you stick to these videos, and I'll try my best to share all the knowledge that I have and a bit about my experience of IELTS as well. So my IELTS exam was at this very beach luxury hotel because I live in Karachi. I reached. I'll actually make a separate video about my IELTS test taking experience. It was a pleasant one, and after when I was done with the exam on the second day, I had my speaking section, and it was not actually at the beach luxury hotel. It was at a different venue because it was at the AEO's office somewhere in Clifton. If I remember correctly, it was in near Bilawal Chorangi in Karachi. So those who are here in Karachi would know what I'm talking about, right? So you need to reach the test venue half an hour before the test actually starts. It's good to arrive earlier and relax yourself a bit, and just make sure you get a good night's sleep before going to the exams, because you don't want to be stressed out when you're going into the exam. Obviously there is going to be some pressure, especially because of the high fees that you're paying. I understand that, but trust me, if you are well prepared, if your basic English is really good, you're going to score well. It's not that difficult of a test. All right. So that's pretty much it. Best of luck. Thank you very much for watching.